Voyager 1 endured the desolate vastness of space, breaching the threshold of interstellar space, and kept relaying faint, mysterious insights from the outermost edge of human understanding. But something recently shifted. After months of total silence and a critical failure in its data relay systems, the ancient probe came back online. What it transmitted, however, wasn't standard telemetry. It resembled a warning. A persistent, low-toned hum, like a distant gravitational whisper, tugged from an unseen presence. And within NASA, an unsettling quiet settled one that conveyed more than any press release could. This wasn't a mere quirk of deep space, it was evidence that our long-held suspicions might be true. The boundary of our solar system isn't a void. Perhaps it never was. For decades, Voyager 1 has been a quiet sentinel and embodiment of human exploration and persistence. It has traveled farther than any man-made object, defying projections and surviving well beyond its intended lifespan. Even as its components aged into obsolescence, it remained a loyal transmitter of cosmic data. But in the final months of 2024, that legacy was shaken. Engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory began receiving unintelligible transmissions, no longer structured scientific readouts, but corrupted, indecipherable noise. The probe's flight data system, its operational memory and brain, had malfunctioned. Though Voyager continued broadcasting, its messages were scrambled, devoid of order. NASA worked in silence, laboring for months with uncertainty. Each command sent to Voyager required nearly 45 hours to complete a round trip, 22.5 hours to reach the spacecraft, and another 22.5 to get a response, assuming one came at all. With each attempt, hope flickered, challenged by distance and time. But then, unexpectedly, on March 20, 2025, something changed. Voyager responded, not just with a carrier signal, it transmitted actual data. The team celebrated? Yet as the information was parsed and analyzed, celebration gave way to concern. The incoming readings didn't align with known baselines. Voyager was functional. Yes, its sensors operational. But what it was sensing was no longer familiar. For a long time, scientists believed the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence yields to the interstellar medium, was a gentle shift, a gradual fade into cosmic emptiness. But Voyager's recent readings painted a more alarming picture. What it encountered wasn't a soft transition, but a volatile frontier, an energetic zone of charged plasma, fluctuating pressure, and erratic radiation bursts. This wasn't merely a change in solar wind, it was a disruption, a place where physics strained and snapped. Most unsettling were the density readings. Voyager measured wild swings in particle concentrations, as though something was compressing the space around it. Instruments detected a rhythmic oscillation, a pulse almost like a heartbeat resonating in the dark. This wasn't sensor error, it was steady, corroborated by multiple systems, and it intensified the farther Voyager traveled. The data pointed toward a chilling idea that the solar system's border was not just a marker, it was reactive, maybe even sentient to intrusions. Hidden within the newly decoded data was a peculiar signal, a narrow frequency band, continuous and eerily uniform, pulsing at exactly 3 kHz. It fell below known natural plasma wave patterns. It wasn't a message in the traditional sense, no information modulation, no encoded content, but its unwavering consistency made it unsettling. Voyager had once detected this frequency faintly in the past, dismissed then as ambient static. But now, with clear reception and better processing tools, its presence became undeniable. The signal had always been there, us too weak to notice before. What made it even more disturbing was its consistency. It didn't vary with solar conditions, wasn't distorted by electromagnetic interference. It was persistent, like a ticking metronome hidden in the background fabric of space. Some proposed it was a natural plasma resonance, a harmless oscillation of particles. But as Voyager pressed forward, the signal's definition sharpened, not louder, but clearer, more purposeful. It seemed focused, increasingly directed toward a certain region. Inside mission control, tension rose. No known celestial object could be linked to the source, but one thing became indisputable: this wasn't ambient noise. It was patterned, and that raised the question no one dared voice. What if Voyager wasn't merely listening? What if something or someone was transmitting? Further analysis of the probe's path revealed one final, deeply unsettling detail. Voyager was drifting not due to mechanical failure or propulsion misfire, but because of an outside force. Its projected trajectory, when compared to current readings, showed a gradual yet undeniable shift. Something out there was tugging on it. This pull was gravitational, steady, and inexplicable. The area Voyager approached was a void: no stars, no planets, no known mass. Yet something invisible was reaching out, drawing the spacecraft toward it like a hand from the abyss. NASA responded by pointing other instruments in the same direction: space telescopes, deep space radio arrays. Nothing was found. No heat, no light, no measurable presence, only darkness. Still, the pull remained. Some theorized a rogue planet, a nomadic black hole, or an isolated clump of dark matter. But none of these fit all the facts: not the signal, not the particle storm, not the shifting course. Voyager wasn't falling, it was being guided, drawn toward a destination that official star charts said didn't exist. Yet it moved forward, no longer alone, but no longer just drifting. As Voyager's eerie transmissions reverberated through the scientific world, a shift began, not in space, but here on Earth. Updates from NASA's Deep Space Network, once transparent and publicly shared, started arriving later than usual or not at all. Logs once openly published were replaced by vague summaries. Team members who had been outspoken and visible gradually fell silent. While no formal statement was issued, the subtext was clear: some discoveries were now being handled behind closed doors. Inside sources spoke of classified briefings, of entities beyond NASA becoming involved, groups with jurisdiction over matters where science intersects with national security. The atmosphere inside JPL changed. Engineers who once posted routine updates about signal processing or course adjustments stopped communicating. Even those known for public outreach withdrew. Whatever Voyager had encountered, it was no longer just a mission update. It had become something else. And for a spacecraft meant only to send back fading farewells from deep space, the weight of that silence spoke volumes. In the absence of clear information, independent researchers and theorists began filling in the blanks. Some speculated the anomaly was a condensed clump of dark matter dense enough to distort gravity but invisible to traditional instruments. Others suggested the 3 kHz frequency was a lingering relic of an ancient cosmic event, a whisper from the primordial universe, accidentally intersecting with Voyager's path. But then came more provocative theories: that the signal was artificial, that the gravitational influence wasn't mass, but an active field, that Voyager had crossed into something beyond physical space as we understand it. A few pointed to early mission anomalies recorded by Pioneer 10 and 11, subtle slowdowns dismissed decades ago as mundane thermal effects. Now, some wondered if those spacecraft had only brushed the outer edge of a boundary Voyager was fully entering. The most radical idea, however, proposed that Voyager wasn't being drawn toward an object, but toward a response, that its presence, its signals, its intrusion had activated something ancient, buried in the cosmos like a dormant system waiting to detect an intruder. A mechanism, or awareness, that only awakens when a forbidden line is crossed. Even those committed to empirical science couldn't ignore the emotional weight of this moment. We have always believed in frontiers: Earth, the Moon, Mars, the heliopause. We treated space as a canvas for our technology and imagination. But now, that illusion falters. If the outer edges of our solar system respond, if they echo, then space isn't passive, it's structured. Perhaps it has parameters, limitations, or guardians. Voyager 1, once the proud standard-bearer of human ingenuity, now stands as something else: a herald, returning not just with discoveries, but with consequences. If Voyager's course is no longer dictated solely by physics, if it's being influenced by an unknown force, then we must confront a deeper question: what lies in the darkness ahead? And more pressingly, should we continue pressing into it? Voyager was never designed to return answers of this magnitude. It was a time capsule, a farewell, a final wave to the stars, yet it has spoken once more. And that last message doesn't comfort, it unsettles. It asks a question that resonates louder than any radio frequency. What if the edge of our solar system was never a boundary but a door? What if the silence of deep space was never true silence, but restraint? What if Voyager wasn't simply observing the cosmos but being observed? The low-frequency resonance, the gravitational shift, the magnetic irregularities, they may be scientific data, but they could also be signs, warnings, indications that the cosmos is as still or indifferent as we once thought, that beyond the sun's warmth lie forces older than time itself, watching, waiting, perhaps now responding. And so we are left to ask what no one dares to say aloud. Was launching Voyager 1 into the void a triumph of human ambition or a mistake of cosmic scale? Let us know your thoughts.